Ici. Một khó trái mà.
Started off protesting peace while I pop a roll a gun. I'm physically, mentally pissed. Middle, yes, stick under the love. Gotta stay strong when it cut it on my blood. Too bad, too sad for now. I'm a kaya screaming while I'm marching. Screaming kaya while I shooting with no mercy. But my kaya ain't cool, but we still on the news. Fuck from me, soldier, I'm a shoot. From me, soldier, I'm a shot. Me clutching on my guns, yeah, that's 22.
I'm really excited to bring you the upcoming interview with a very special guest. You'll hear him discussing all the great and courageous work that he's currently engaged in. And if you feel inspired to help him continue these efforts, please consider making a donation earmarked for his projects. Or you can give a general donation that will support the wider movement in Myanmar. Our ongoing support has been so very helpful and appreciated by those in the country who are struggling during these dark days. Simply go to insightmyanmar.org/donation to contribute today, or stay tuned to the end of the episode to hear more options. For now, let's hear from that guest himself.
So my guest today is Khun Be with the Karenni Nationalities Defense Force, or KNDF, and also the Deputy Minister for Natural Resources and Environmental Conservation with the National Unity Government. So Khun Be, thank you for joining us. I would just ask you to begin by introducing yourself and what it is that you do as part of the KNDF, what you do within the National Unity Government, and also just to introduce to people who might not be familiar with it, what is Karenni State?
Hello, good morning from Karenni State. My name is Khun Be, and I work for NUG as a deputy ministry at the MONRAD. In the meantime, since the coup, we did conducting non-violence demonstration. But later, I have to set up the revolution group. That's the only way that to fight back the military regime, the coup. So I found and joined with all my friends from the Karenni State. We found an organization called the Karenni Nationalities Defense Force, which is alliance and coalition of the different PDF from the Karenni State. And so far we have about 19 battalion and strong fight back the military region in the Karenni State right now. And you might not familiar with the Karenni State. In fact, it is just the Kaya State. But the term, the the terminology that called the Kayabes refers to the minority, one of the minority groups in the state. But when we call ourselves the Karenni state, which means that refers to the collation of the different identity and also former name of the state. So we like to prefer we like to call ourselves as a Karenni. And right now the Karenni is more like showing a unity and also working together under the terms, and not only just the within the Karenni state, but also the nationwide, including the NUG government, is happy to assess the inclusive name and inclusive terms. So it become the reconciliation, and it's become the coalition and unity, not only the state level but also in the national level. So we I become a NUG government as a Karenni representative. So different political party and armed groups join together, and we collect 4% and send to be the NUG government. So I become one of the NUG government. This is the introduction about me and my people, my situation, my state. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. And so let's start focusing a little bit on Karenni State. So for those who may not be familiar with the history, Karenni State, or previously as it was called, KR State, was under very heavy military repression, even during the quote unquote democracy of Thein Sein and under the NLD. At the time, KR State was under a very heavy military occupation. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that's correct. The Karenni state has long history of the struggle. The During the military coup in 1962, there was a strong fight and asking about the equality and restore the democracy. Since that time, the military oppressed and conduct the forecast, cover the food, cover the communication, cover the media supply and other transportation. So majority people were flee to Thailand since that time, and some of the people are already in the abroad in the different country already. So along history, we fight, we demand better the equality and democracy. So when we have Utensen reform, the people started to coming back and started to do a little bit development. But in the meantime, there is a resistant organization that cannot sign ceasefire, cannot really reach to the peace agreement. And then that's continued until the NLD government from 2015 to 2020. The negotiation was continued. Of course, at that time, a lot of development, economic, and stability are restored during that democracy reform and negotiation were happening. But after the coup, after Mainline take over the power, then everything was abandoned. No? We facing the strong fight. It was begin with the people movement, strong people movement, and then suddenly we changed into the revolution. So we took on, we fight back. So what happened now is the four of our main towns, are destroyed or burned. Loiko, Dimosu, Nampekong, and Pekong also mostly fighting happened, and due to military, the coup, the SSC truth use a lot of extraordinary or extra use of power, like using mortar, using the airstrike, and try to target all these civilian houses. So our houses are more than 500 houses are already destroyed since the after the coup. And of course, not just using the mortar and airstrike, but also on the ground, the military burned the house and killed the people. It is more than 300 people were shot to death by the military regime since that time. So, but of course, we have to receive that. Otherwise, we have to run away. We have to flee to another country again. This is not a choice for us. This is the only choice is to stay here and fight back. So we continue to fight with the military regime until today.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
talk about the security situation then, because you've mentioned mortars, you've mentioned shelling, you've mentioned bombing, all these sorts of things. Let's take it back a little bit. Let's go back to, let's say, April, May of 2021. Were you dealing with a lot of ground troops? Did they have a lot of Tatmadaw soldiers coming in and committing crimes?
Correct. Our state, the fight began in May 21st of the May in Dimoso. It was begun by the SAC Truth. Now they are trying to eliminate all the blocking demonstration there. So when they enter into the town, there was a funeral events and people were gathering there and pray for the person at that time. But SEC just came into that area and shoot the people and arrest about 10 people. So since that time, now the people cannot patient anymore, and they started to fight back to the SEC truth on that day. So the fight was began, and since that time, SEC sent more than 1,500 soldiers from different areas, especially from Naypyidaw to Karenni State. They sent two way. One is from Taungu to Loikor, which is by car, and then they march toward the Mosul and Pruso town and enter back to Loikor. The other troop is coming from Tongji to Penlong and Sisai and to enter into Loikor. So the number of troops on the ground deployed, and they've been going into about 100 village, and those village are all are affected by the SAC. Most of the village, the crosses are burned down, or the people are there are killed by the SAC. Of course, since that time we fight back. We fight very strongly, and of course the fight is not the traditional way anymore. It was used to be on the at the very remote area and fighting at the remote area. Nowadays we fight on the event. We fight on the main road, especially. So we cannot let the SAC come out of their battalion and go into the village and destroy the village. So we choose to fight them at their places. We choose to fight them at the main road. So since the operation start, the fighting mostly escalate on the main road of the Karenni state, and it's mostly happen at the Mosul, Loikor, Nampeko, and Peko townships.
And I mean, I just want to emphasize, you talk about, I think you said 1,500 SAC soldiers. And for those who are not familiar, the population of Karenni state is only 300,000 and something. It is quite a small state. So 1,500 soldiers is a very large force to bring into a state like this to bring into that type of a population. So I think we could say at this point, every 200th person in Karenni state is an SAC soldier, which is a very scary number, I think. And so how has this conflict changed over time? Because, as you say, the fighting is not traditional anymore. The fighting has changed because it has to change. And we're seeing more and more reports of mortar shelling, artillery shelling, attack helicopters, bombing planes. Have the SAC, the Tatmadaw, started to focus on air superiority and not so much on ground combat?
That's correct. The Karenni state is very small, and the number of population are also quite small. Um, uh, as a matter of fact, there was 31 battalion deployed in the state. So there's already about 2,000 soldiers deployed on the ground before the fight began. And the fight, when the fight began and escalate, there was more another 1,500 SAC soldier were also sent and try to do this kind of the oppression against the people here in the Karenni state. So we all have experienced that this will happen, and it is now happening. So the use of too much people and the soldier and doing a clear message that they were not tolerant and try to destroy everything. So this is the a clear message by the SAC, but we cannot accept, and we cannot just run away. We have to fight it. So on the ground, we fight well. I believe that 1% of the PDF or KNDF die. About 30 people from the SAC die or like injured. No? So the number of the fights, every time we fight, we carry out winning and controlling. No? We train, we were also eager, and we are decided that to fight and with resources that we have. That's why we are winning on the ground. So of course the SEC truth, since they cannot fight very well on the ground, and they rarely able to take over different places. Most of their places are losings and retrievers. So in order to recover their control, they using this mortar and artillery fire against the people. So using a lots of the mortar shell fire from different battalion to the target places. So every day from here, I can hear that at least 30 mortar bombed to the fighting sites every day. And that's not just like that, but also if the fighting happen more than 30 minutes, they're calling the airstrikes, they are calling the helicopter, armed helicopter, and the fighter jet, and started to bomb. So one day, last February 21st, they asking for plane fighting in the same time, and two helicopter coming in the same time and fighting that area. So this is the extra use of the forces and try to force back the resistant group here in the Karenni state. Besides, right now, they deploy more than 4 of their tank with their troops on the front line. So in the beginning, we believe that there's only 2 tank trying to wandering around the local town, but now they send in more tank, car, and then with mortar on the and fight on the tank and fire to the people. So these tents are also marching in the Nampekon town right now. So they are not. They already passed the Nampekon. They are moving to Sobote village for today, and we believe that they are moving towards Dimoso right now.
So that's very concerning. And my question then is, you have this great advantage over the Tatmadaw in terms of the quality of the fighting. You're talking about 30-1 ratio, which is incredible. Is there anything that you can do to protect yourselves from attack helicopters, mortars, artillery, tanks, these sorts of things? Is there any defense for this?
we we only uh, run or take cover if there is fight, if there is a helicopter coming, because there's very small chance for us to fire back with the rifle. We don't really have the FN6 or Stiger, things like that. So we cannot really fight back with the fighter jet or helicopter. To answer yet, we are under the attack by the aeroplane and the helicopter. That's only that worries us now. If there is no use of these aeroplane fighter jet and the helicopter, we are winning. We are controlling every day. So this is the thing that we haven't, and of course that's also not do a lot of harms to us, to soldier. We are not scared about the fight, but of course the SAC, in order to oppress us, they targeting the people, they targeting the civilian. So in February, in the beginning of February, to this 2022, SAC bombed one of the INTP camp in the Pruso called Rakivu village, kill three innocent people and scare everybody. Now these people has to run to the cave and sleep there at night because they believe that SAC fighter just wandering every day on above of their sky. So they are not there to live out at the village anymore. They are moving to the caves and live there for night, and in the daytime they come back for work like that. That's one example, but there is other. For example, in Nampeko, SAC killed three of the head worker at that town. They are near the front line and they are waiting for the rescued, and then they were shoot to born to death on the Nampeko one time. And this month, on the February 21st, they also born, the SSC also born the a hospital called in a village called Lobako. It is the village is full of the INDP, the displaced person. They move into that area and organizing the medical care by the community, and those of the clinic were reopened and run at that village. But SAC just targeting those hospital and try to bomb now. So the people has to close their hospital right now and has to find another way in order to provide health care. So this is the fighting. The SAC fighting is using the a very brutal, a very in the right way, in order to fight the resistant movement in the Karenni state. Instead of the killing the frontline soldiers to soldier, they are bombing the village, they are bombing the city, and make us to retreat from our front line from our grounds to retreat. So this is the happening, and nobody really help us. Nobody really talk about this. And every day, fighter jet are coming on the sky every day, and it just has to wait and see. No, we cannot do anything.
So, I think you've touched on a very important element, and definitely let's talk about that now. It's not just about the fight between the Tatmadaw and the KNDF. It's the war crimes. It's the harm that is being done to civilians. It's the harm that is being done to the villages. It's the harm that's being done to the IDP camps, where people who have already lost their homes have gone for shelter, and then once again they are being attacked and bombed. So let's talk about the state of these sorts of crimes. So I know you've spoken in the past about the IDP camps being bombed. How often or how frequently does that sort of thing happen?
It happened very often. Um, uh, we haven't every time the plane would come in, they are deliberately bombed to the civilian houses. For example, at least they will fire to the ground. If it's missing, it could be about within about the 100 meter around that, no. And if that killed some of the civilian house, we can understand. But every time is some so, most of the fight is reached to about the 1 mile away and targeting those houses. So one of the new houses bay and very big one, they bomb there and kill two other civilian in February also. So these are happening every day. And for example, another example is in December 24, when SAC troop come into the village, they started to arrest people and then kill those people on the 24th of December. And not just arrest and maybe kill, but also burn alive. We strongly believe that those people are burned to death by the SAC on 24th of December. About 49 people were killed on that day alone. So this is happening. It's happening everywhere. Where we can see that after SAC troop pass over, we can, if we go back that area, we discover at least 1 to 2 civilians will die. No, last week also the SAC troop after they pass Mobile, they shoot one of the civilian who are on the motorbike. No, he is very hurry for his family health care, so he riding motorbike. But SAC from the ambush, they without question they shoot that people. So these people are die, and there's no justice. Nobody can record or ask for the justice on the ground now, because the all this ground the administration are stopped. So only we document those incident and those situation. That's the only thing that we can do. So yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot there. Let's start unpacking it, because I think we have a tendency of just looking at the situation and saying, "Oh, it's bad," and then we don't look at it deeply. So let's start looking at some of these things. First of all, I want to talk about the Christmas Eve massacre, because I still get nightmares from that. You say about 49 people were killed on that day, 24th of December 2021, and I think it's particularly insidious because some regimes are known to do this. They will pick a day which is a holiday in the West, and they will commit crimes on these days because they know that the media and the governments will not notice. They will not have time to notice because it's a holiday. So this is the day before Christmas Day, and I mean, dozens of bodies burnt up, some of them in their cars, some of them with their hands tied behind their backs. It was horrendous. Can you tell us what it was that you found on that day?
Right. The Christmas killing began by the on the day that the people are ready for pray. Now they amid the war, they at least take a holiday and go back to family and praise together. This is the situation in Karenni State. Most of the people here are Christian. 80% are Christian. So we really value on the 24, and on that day mostly pray. But on the early morning, SAC go into the village where they started to take ground and arrest the people. So we believe that about 40 people were arrested on that day. But as soon as we heard that SAC are arresting the people, we informed to different people. So we knew that by accidentally SAC are on the site because the SAC saw one of the villager who tried to find his buffalo on that day, and when SAC threw stopped him, asked him to stop, he started to run. So the SAC shoot that villager on the spot, but luckily he was able to escape. So as soon as the people heard about the SAC on that site, the people also realized that people were arrested there. So they informed one of the BGF, the Buraga forces, which is the ceasefire group that they were intentionally try to maintain peace and stability. So they were based near the Prusso town. And at that time, they heard about this incident and they tried to go to do mediation. But instead of listen to them, SAC also killed those are the four of the BGF. So we we as soon as the people were died, they started to burn the people around 12 p.m. Afternoon time. No? Then the people were started to realize that believe that only some of the people die, but they started to burn the vehicle. They arrest more than 8 trucker and motorcycle. So people were thinking that thought that this vehicle were burned. But in the next day, when they go and check the place, they started to find the body are burned on the truck car, on the ground, things like that. So everybody gets shot on the next morning because nobody will realize that these people were killed on that day. So that's what the situation. And of course the SAC truth. After they killed these people, they started to take money. You know, there are the petrol supplier trucks. So they took some of the money. They threw the people phone, and when the villager, the family member tried to call their family, there was somebody pick up the phone and talk back nothing. So this is clear that the SAC are taking the people property on the spot after they kill. No, and there also Pruso villagers see that they are carry back rice and other property from the truck car. So it's clear that they are taking the property and kill these people, and they retrieve back a little bit on the mountain. And of course, after realize that the people are burnt to death, we try to take the body, we try to capture the picture, but SAC are not allow us. So they fire mortar, they fire the machine gun from the top of mountain to the incident site. So until 27 of the December 2021, we cannot recover the body. But luckily, we able to recover at the evening time and started to check. So all we found is 33 so-called body. Their remain body are able to count, and there are a lot more number that we cannot count or become to ash, and because of the wind and the situation is flow away, so we cannot recover the whole body from that side. And we also asking the CD and daughter not to the daughter to check the body, and we barely can distinguish the situation. The body killed before burn, or burn after kill, something like that. We cannot really say. So these are the situation, but we take some of the DNA tests for the people, and we keep then the body properly, so that one day we can show to the world that these people are burned to death or killed by the SAC on that day. So these are the only evidence that we can recover. So after that, we asking the police force to collect the evidence, to collect the filing. So we asking the community to report number of their family member are missing. So we got total of the 49 people are report that they are missing on the day that killed. So we conclude that 49 people were die on the Christmas event, on the Christmas killing by the SAC.
And I mean, it's that is just a particularly extreme example. It's a particularly heinous example. And once again, it's also an example, I think, of religious-based violence, because yes, the junta are doing terrible things to everyone. They don't really care about religion. But when you see a mass killing like this on Christmas in a predominantly Christian state, you have to consider that there is perhaps a special level of hatred that the junta have for people who are not Buddhist like them, which is horrendous. So let's then look at the broader sort of situation. Now, you say that they target civilian homes, you say that they target IDP camps, all these sorts of things. So the military's argument is going to be that because the resistance groups do not wear uniforms, and because the resistance groups are civilians, they are trying to target legitimate military targets, and it is the responsibility of the PDF, it is the responsibility of resistance groups to not hide among civilians. That will be the argument that the military has. What would your reply be to this?
I totally deny the SAC argument. As a matter of fact, as soon as we set out the resistant forces we asking our people to sign and to follow the written down value the rules, and also refer our rules to the international norm. So we have very very restricted and very um, uh, um, uh, good rule that apply to our soldier, our truth, and we all have a uniform. We wear the distinguished mark on the neck because we know that which one is our soldier, and we have particularly different color from the SAC. So we we on the front line we have a clear marking, um, and the other is we are not based in the village. We are making camp in the remote area, and we base there, and they know that they've been monitoring us by drone, by the plane every time. So when we study train, they know exactly where we are training and where we are camping, and they've been report to the malicious group that to stop this kind of activity in the beginning, so they know where we are. So we are not on the town or not in the village. We asking our troop not to go into the village with the weapon or with the uniform. If they have to trouble, they have to go straight and just stop for a minute and go. Now, not to camp or not to do any exercise or any activity within the civilian places. We are not using the public clinic. We have in our own operation, own clinic. So this is the situation that we are camping. But of course, the whole nation are not supporting the SAC, not supporting the coup, not supporting this kind of brutality and massacre to the people. So they all resist that, and they all supporting this resistance movement. So everybody, more or less, they are relating, they are supplying food, they are providing clothes and other needs to the people. Until now, the resistance mood for example, my group, we have more than thousands of soldiers and thousands of the rifle, automated rifle. Until now, I never collect a piece of tax, or I force the people to pay for the bullet or the pay for the food like that. But we got donation from everybody every time. So we able to survive. We able to reinforce our needs. That's why the whole people are supporting the movement. The whole country are supporting the revolution. That's why the SAC are so angry and they are targeting the people deliberately. The number of people in the prisons, they are not having food enough, and the SAC, instead of in the beginning when we do demonstration, they arrest people. So a couple number of our soldiers also arrested because of the go into the training, and they are now imprisoned in Loico. But after we fight back, there is no more prisoner increasing. There is only one things increasing is the number of killing, the number of civilian die are increasing every day. So the SAC is targeting the people, which is mean that they are trying to do the brutality and try to show that the people try to do the try to scare the people so that people were not resistant anymore. People were not support the revolution anymore. This is the main intention that they're trying to do. But it is the opposite impact that people stay continue to support. The number of house people are village are burned and houses are burned, but nobody really say that we should start or asking the resistant group to stop the fight. Instead, they said, please fight at as much as you can and restore the freedom. Now, I cannot really care about my house if I live under the SAC, and I will just not only lose my house, but also lose my life and lose my children generation. There's no hope. There is no incentive under the SAC. So please fight and please vote back the SAC from our area, things like that. The main message to us. So we continue to fight, and that's why we never get regress or get pressure by the community. We stay get support. We stay able to continue like this. So the main thing is SAC are really losing support. They are the only things they do is to show their brutality so that the people were scared. But it is not like that. People start more supporting the revolution, supporting the fight, and we are winning, and SAC is losing every day.
So I just want to focus on one element of this, which I think is quite important. As you're no doubt aware, everyone in the international media is talking about Ukraine, the war in Ukraine. And I believe that a large part of this is because out of Ukraine, we are seeing a lot of footage, a lot of pictures, a lot of videos, these sorts of things. And the same types of crimes, even worse crimes, happen in Karenni State. But we do not see as much footage. We do not see as many pictures. We don't have that visual representation. Why do you think this is?
This is because of the lack of media. There's no much with media group remain inside the country, so there's not much report on the media. And the second things, the international community, especially the those of the respect of human rights and democracy, they are not able to care or able to question about the situation in the Myanmar right now. All they are condemn the SAC action, and they are asking to negotiate between the revolutionary group and the SAC. So this is the only message that they give him. But and they are silenced even they see some of the footage, some of the situation, and they keep silent. So this is the lack of the responsible, or lack of the uh, taking action by the international community. Um, the other main reason is also because of the China and Russia are defending the Myanmar, especially the China, because having a lot of concerns if there is the Western or pro-democracy and human rights government are involving and supporting the change, then is create the worries to the China. That's why China is rejecting anybody to involve in the situation or criticize the Myanmar situation. So this is the main reason I think that is missing. As a matter of fact, we are dying every day. A lot of village, a lot of town are burned, like Ukraine, or maybe um, uh, we are like a cancer. No, the Ukraine case is more like um, accident. So the people, when they are bleeding, the people know and supporting that very urgently. But in case like cancer, it is very dangerous. It is very serious, and nobody really realize or talk about that so much. And I wonder how much we have to die when, so that the international will take action or started to do better job. I believe the international government organization can do a lot of things. They can support the humanitarian assistance right now. Since the SAC blocking the road and trying to steal everything, the food supply and other the utility shortage at the now. And SAC also cut the medics transportation, so nobody can really transport the medical medicine to the area. So we have in the shortage of the medic. But this INDP, the number of INDP forests about Karenni State, we have more than 200,000 of INDP are living in the jungle or moving to the town near the Shan State. So and nobody really doing a good job to support this display present, and not just supporting the display people, but also if they want to restore back democracy, rule of law, we must stop the SAC. So there must be a more sanction, a more the embargo, things like that must impose right now. There are still many countries supplier the bond to the SAC. Countries like Ukraine, including former cases like Ukraine, also sell arms to the Myanmar government. So this the SSC government. Sorry. So this is the we must thought now. We just not care about one side, but also care Myanmar. If they care about like this, we will win. And one when we win, we will get back not just democracy and human right, but also become a pro-democracy country and a pro the country that maintain peace and stability in the region. So we can do a lot more fruitful things to ASEAN or China. No? If the China wants to do sustainable and mutual benefit of economics, we can be a better government in the future in the situation like that. If they are ignoring and if they continue to support the SAC, all they will get, all they will see is this skyrocket killing, skyrocket the oppression, and all the stability, all the regional economic and social cooperation will have a negative impact. So please take action as soon as possible. It is not just good for the people of Myanmar, but also good for the whole world to have a better neighbor country like that.
Absolutely. And so, expanding on this point, I know that you've spoken about the displaced people, the internally displaced people, IDPs, and refugees, and certainly the situation is very bad. The people in Karenni State do have at least the possibility of escaping to Thailand, but that is a very difficult choice as well. Starting a new life in a foreign country, often without a passport, often not speaking the local language. It is a very difficult decision. It's a very difficult situation. So what specifically can we do to help the citizens, to help the IDPs, to help the people who have been most affected by the junta? What can we as individuals do to help?
Yeah, I strongly believe that the international community should started to talk about the Myanmar cases, the brutality of the SAC, and asking their member of parliament to do something. If the politicians in that those countries are so busy, I think there must be people to raise the question and talk about that within their constituency or within their country, so that the member of parliament or the government will follow and do something change. So I believe that please talk about that and started to call for member of parliament or call for the embassies to take greater actions. And I will say at least do the sanction and do the embargo, things like that must be addressed right now. And not just the pressure, but also the collect donation supports to the IDP people or displaced people. A lot of people were worried that the revolution can be the donation can be go to revolution and giving a negative impact. And I will totally understand that the donation should go to the community directly. So I'm recommend the church organization or the community-based organization. Those are the humanitarian organization like NGO, the local NGO operating here. They are not supplying the weapon or supplying the arm to the revolution, but they are struggle with the resources. They are struggle with the finance. So because they cannot provide food or medics to the community anymore. So please collect donation and support this local NGO or a community-based organization or church-based organization, so that the people can have at least food and medical care amid the war right now. So that's two things. And the last thing is, if it's the this fight is not just a civil war of war like the revolution. Small group of people are fighting back for their rights. It is we are here talking about the military regime, the junta, the brutal group, the terrorist group are taking the power, and the people, the majority winning, or the people support the government are on the other side. So this is the two sides are fighting. One is terrorists, one is the legitimate government like NUG, like my government, and the truth that we mobilize are the good the defense forces of the people. So when we choose, when the international community choose between the two groups, please support one of the people government group and against the terrorist group. So if you understand clearly, or if you already see the whole picture, then do not afraid to support the people, the people supporting government, or people supported defense forces. So support us if you can, and we will win. If you support us, we will win faster and recontrol the country faster, and then we will restore the peace and the stability as soon as possible. So please support us. The main things we need is the air defense system. If there is something that available for us, we can much stronger and much toward the SAC places. So we were by that we were controlled. So please also find a way to help us on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And so my last question then really is what is the path forward? Obviously, we want the international community to help, and they desperately need to, and there's an ethical responsibility to help. But what is within the country the way to resolve this crisis? What must the Tatmadaw do? What must the NUG do? What must the Myanmar people do to end this crisis?
The first thing the Tatmadaw has to realize that they are not the government. They are not welcome to the political power. They must realize that the Tatmadaw, the national army, is just to defend the nation, not to oppress the people. So they must realize that and must go back to their duty and their role. So the country is asking this for a long, long time, but our country history already show that the military are very eager to take power, and there are history that for a long time they took power from 1962 to until 2010. So it's more than 6 decades that they took the power, and the country became the most poor country in the world, not just only ASEAN but also the whole country. So we are become the extremely poor country in the world. So this is the Tatmadaw has to realize that they are not good at the power. They are not happy in the country, and by going putting their set in the government, the economy, then the social all decline. So the first thing that they has to realize that and just do their own only job that to do the defense things. The second things, we must continue to resist the terrorist action. So the people cannot just give up easily, especially the Bamar people. The whole country has to continue, unite, and fight back. We are fighting the SAC many ways. We are blocking their production. We are criticizing the people who are supporting the military business, or we are blocking the people who give tests to the military. So these are the duty for the whole people. So and the people must continue to do that in order to fight the military. And more than that, we must unity. There are a number of the resistant groups set out during this the last year, and we are fighting different places and different locations, different strategy, but we must unite and fight a more tactic way and more strategic way. So we must add right now. So this is the duty and the thing that we must continue, and we are doing that. And of course, the revolution government and UG government is not supposed to have to set out the revolutionary group like this, but we have no choice. We are doing now, and we are getting more stronger and wider network, not just only defense forces, but also we're able to negotiate with the ethnic armed groups. These of the ethnic armed groups are struggling for a long time, and no government, no institution will recognize of their rights or their demand. But our NUG, this revolution, we change. We are accepting the multi people. We are accepting different religions. We are respecting human rights, and we guarantee the ethnic minority rights, and we are also believing and moving toward the federalism, because the only because by believing and by doing that, as we were just not just fight, just not only fighting the military, but also building the unity and building the cohesion of the different people. And after the SAC fall, after the military give out their controls of the power, we will have the democracy against and respect of ethnic people rights, and the new constitution were in place. That constitution will become one of the giving solution to end the civil war and build unity among different people and respect of human rights and democracy. So this is the people in Myanmar is doing, and please, we will continue to believe that. We will continue to support this action, and we will show the world that there must be a greater support from international community too.
Excellent. Khun Be, thank you very much for your time. Are there any other thoughts or other comments that you would like our audience to know?
I would say the in the Karenni state is one of the example that we are struggling. We uniting the local armed groups, and in the last 5 years, of course, there are the Karenni itself is consists of many different ethnicity, and those ethnicity also having a lot of issue. But we are now resolving those issues internally, and we reached to further agreement, and we are now unite and fight together. So some of the other region also become like this. For example, in Karenni state, in Kachin state, in Chin state, and also in people in Sagaing Magui region, they also become like that. So we are just one example, but the other region are also doing a lot of good job and uniting the people. And of course, we have no choice so far. We don't really have support from Thailand. We don't really have support from our neighbor country like China or India. So I'm asking this neighboring country, please do not ignore and do not keep silent. They must add something, and it is very important for them to choose the good government or the terrorist government. And I believe that they were like to choose us, and this is not internet affair anymore. If they are not acting right now, there will be displaced person flees to Thailand or China, and of course, so far we don't really have the medical system and things like that. So the health issue, the trafficking issue, the environmental issues, and the most sensitive is the security in terms of healthcare, where impacts to their country. So please do act right now and choose to support the us as a democratic, as a good neighbor country and neighbor good government like that.
As inspiring as today's guest was, I know from experience that when you're listening from so far away, there can also be a certain kind of helplessness in hearing about people's dire struggles. Thankfully, our nonprofit mission offers a reliable way for interested listeners to provide financial assistance to those local communities who need it most. All donations are sent to support urgent humanitarian missions, as well as those vulnerable peoples being impacted by the military coup. By taking an active role in helping to support the movement, you can help ensure that people like today's speaker have even a few more resources to draw upon and can manage even just another week in continuing their efforts. If you would like to join in our mission to support those in Myanmar who are being impacted by the military coup, we welcome your contribution in any form, currency, or transfer method. Your donation will go to support a wide range of humanitarian missions, aiding those local communities who need it most. Donations are directed to such causes as the Civil Disobedience Movement, CDM, families of deceased victims, internally displaced person, IDP camps, food for impoverished communities, military defection campaigns, undercover journalists, monasteries and nunneries, education initiatives, the purchasing of protective equipment and medical supplies, COVID relief, and much more. We also make sure that our donation fund supports a diverse range of religious and ethnic groups across the country. We invite you to visit our website to learn more about past projects as well as upcoming needs. You can give a general donation or earmark your contribution for a specific activity or project you would like to support, perhaps even something you heard about in this very episode. All of this humanitarian aid work is carried out by our nonprofit mission, Better Burma. Any donation you give on our Insight Myanmar website is directed towards this fund. Alternatively, you can also visit the Better Burma website, betterburma.org. That's BETTERBURMA.org, and donate directly there. In either case, your donation goes to the same cause, and both websites accept credit cards. You can also give via PayPal by going to paypal.me/betterburma. Additionally, we take donations through Patreon, Venmo, GoFundMe, and Cash App. Simply search Better Burma on each platform and you'll find our account. You can also visit either the Insight Myanmar or Better Burma websites for specific links to those respective accounts, or email us at info@betterburma.org. If you'd like to give it another way, please contact us. Thank you so much for your kind consideration and support.
Yeah.